Well, hi there, PPSY 555. I hope you're having a great Monday. I hope your week is off to a great start. Hey, once again, just great work. Thanks for that. I hope you really enjoyed this last unit. I'm looking for some artifacts that kind of spoke to career development. And I hope you enjoyed the fact that you didn't have to engage in conversation with your classmates. Just kind of got to take it easy and come up with those 3 artifacts. I always find that, right around midterms and kind of different times, just life gets super busy and just crazy. And folks are like, oh, I cannot do this. I cannot do this. So I like to kind of give a break. So I hope that you felt a little bit of just kind of a reprieve, kind of a you're going to take another deep breath. You've been looking at the things that you've shared, and as expected, some wonderful, wonderful resources. So thank you for that. I'll make sure to give you some comments on those things here in the next couple of days. Your grades are almost completely updated, so if you have any questions on that, please feel free to let me know. We are entering into, believe it or not, the final 4 weeks of our semester. So we have this next unit 7, of course, and then we enter into unit 8, and then we are done. So I don't know. Some of you may be graduating. Some of you may have just started. I know that there's kind of it runs the gamut, right? So you're at the beginning part of the program, at the end of the part of the program. I was talking actually to I think a colleague about this class and how it's such a fun class for me to teach. And I think what happens oftentimes is students enter in thinking, it's just it's just a course. I don't even know why I'm taking this class. I ask the question, why are you here? And more often than not, it's because I want to get the LPCC, which is totally understandable and great. And yet then you kind of get into the course and the curriculum, you start reading, you go, I actually I like this. I find value in this. That's really interesting. And it starts, weeks 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 roll around. You're like, wait a second, this is actually very helpful and beneficial for me personally. And then you start to make some even further connections to how it relates to just marriage and family therapy in general. And I think probably especially because, as we talked about, career has this huge impact on marriage, on family, on all of these aspects. I've been thinking about, my future, and if ever I were to just go on my own and do career counseling, which oftentimes I think about, I think one of the benefits is that that I've had in teaching this course, and I hope that kind of on the other side, as you've taken the class, the benefits is I get to think about career counseling through the lens of it not just being focused on one person, right? It being focused on, whether it's I know that we talk about MFT being marriage, focus, right? So marriage and family therapy, but it's so much more than just that. Now, of course, that kind of encapsulates most, if not all, relationships, like marriage and family, because we're all part of a family of some sort. And those families oftentimes come from marriage, so there's lots of connections there. Again, not always the case, but oftentimes that's the reality. But I think that's really helped my lens, my framework to see it through that. And I started to think about how would I market those skills, right? So, a career coach and counselor who was, kind of got his chops by way of thinking about it from a therapeutic or a therapy or a counseling standpoint, right? From a marriage and family therapy take. Same thing for you. So you're thinking about career through the lens there of the rest of your curriculum. In fact, in my current, full-time day job, my dean oftentimes introduces me as someone who got his start in career counseling by way of marriage and family therapy. Now, I didn't get my degree in marriage and family therapy, but I'm in the social and applied sciences, but still that's kind of the reality, right? I got my start into this business in a really kind of streamlined, focused, kind of not more than just kind of helping people here and there, but really getting into it through marriage and family therapy, through the lens thereof. So, it's a real benefit for me, and I hope that you've found that as well. And now we're on the tail end of the class and thinking about, okay, what am I going to do in the future? Maybe you'd say this is an element of something that you'd want to consider. Now, if that's you, I just want to throw that out there. If you're like, man, I really like the whole of my program, I really like why I got into it, I really like what I think I want to do with it, but I think I need some other streams potentially of income or some other areas that I can focus on in my work. If that's you, send me a note, send me an email. Let me know how I can kind of better support you. I think that's going to be really important for me to be able to provide those resources if I can. There's so many out there, and I've done all the research. Well, I shouldn't say all. There's always more to do. I've done a lot of research, and I would love to be able to provide you with all sorts of resources, places to go for additional training. And usually, the trainings that I found, if you really wanted to kind of dig even deeper into career, and I hope what you'll find is in doing that, let's say you want to sign up for there's a career program at University of California, San Diego. It's online. Let's say you want to do more work in the career space. What you will find is what you learned in this class gave you kind of a nice, you could look at it either as a broad brush, kind of 30,000 foot view of career counseling, or you could look at it as a foundation, right? So one way or another, it's not the meat. You got into a little bit, so you knew a little bit about a lot. You either got the top or the bottom, and they're going to take you a little bit deeper into it. But most of these programs, these training programs, are relatively inexpensive, especially in comparison to the full cost of your MA in clinical psychology program. But if you want to know more information, please let me know. I'm happy to pass that on to you. Okay? So this week, where are we headed? We are headed into all sorts of directions. And I realized, looking again at this week's content, I jumped the gun a little bit. I referenced Dr. Meg Jay and her video as something that was going to be part of Unit 6. It's actually part of Unit 7. So if you're watching my video and going, wait a second, where's Meg Jay? I jumped the gun. I was looking at it on my phone at the time when I got the content, and I had forgotten that it's actually not until this week. So here we go. We look at Dr. Meg Jay. She's got a great TED Talk on why 30 is not the new 20. Some great science of the brain and all that. You're going to, I think, really enjoy what she has to share. And what I love about this is this video that you're going to watch is on the tail end of the artifacts assignment. And I found this video some years ago when a student just like you shared with me in that specific assignment this video. They found it, they go, you have to watch this. And I was like, oh, that's amazing, you're right. And I've been showing it in the class ever since. So one of the other reasons, and I'll just tell you, I'm not trying to hide it selfishly, we just crowdsourced a bunch of resources that could be used in future classes. So you found all of these artifacts, all these resources, and then you shared them with not only the class, but with me, so I can look through them and go, this would be great for future classes. And I may have found them on my own, but you found them much quicker, brought them to the hub of the course, and now we get to potentially pay it forward and share them with future students. So thank you for that. And we thank the student that shared this video from Dr. Meg Jay with our class some years ago, because now we get to benefit it in this class. We're going to read an article titled The Resume's Secret Identity, a tool for narrative exploration in multicultural career counseling, and then career anchors and job role planning, tools for career and talent management. And of course, we have our optional discussion, which I don't think a lot of you have opted to engage in. That's totally okay. That's why it's labeled optional. And then we've got discussion number 7, case study number 7, exercise number 5, and then LipTAC 321 number 5. So I want to just hit on a couple things. We have 2 more weeks here. This is your last LipTAC 321. I want you to be really thorough, okay? So don't just flippantly throw a sentence or 2 off. Actually, give me some meaty content to chew on as what it was that you learned. These 3 things, your big takeaways from the LipTAC reading, your 2 questions, and then your 1 actionable item that you can put in practice tomorrow. And again, you're more than likely, if you've done the assignment, you're going to be okay, but it's really a benefit for you. So don't shortchange yourself and do just the bare minimum. Actually really kind of dig into the content and share that with the class, okay? Same thing with the exercise, the case studies. Don't just kind of flippantly, oh yeah, this is what I would do, but in 4 cents, be done with it. Give me some meat. Show me that you're really thoughtfully considering how would you respond to this? How would you utilize this? How is this going to benefit you? And so forth. And then the exercise, this is really, as I think about what I'm asking you to do in the exercises, I'm thinking about how will this benefit you, right? Because you're as much as the potential clients that you're working with or will work with in the future, you're going to be able to help them. You will be able to help them even better if you have gone through these exercises on your own, right? I can't tell you how many assessments and different tools and interventions that I have personally experienced that have helped to inform how I think about how I then go and help clients in the long run. The whole framework out of which I work when I'm consulting and coaching with clients in the long time frame, it all comes out of an experience that I personally had when I was being coached myself. Probably now, maybe, 6 or 7 years ago. And it was so powerful, it kind of just completely changed the trajectory of everything that I do in coaching, and I now focus solely on using this framework because it was so beneficial to me personally. So everything that I'm asking you to do from these exercises is really to benefit you, which will ultimately benefit the clients with whom you work. Even if you don't go specifically into career, I would argue that some of these interventions and exercises that you're utilizing personally from a career standpoint could potentially be helpful in your work as a counselor in future relationships. So I hope that's helpful, and I'm looking forward to kind of just getting into what you're sharing there. So again, 4 weeks left in the term. Remember that your LipTac 321 is due Sunday night at midnight, not Sunday night at the end of the term. The first week of the term, or the unit, I'm sorry, it's due. So you have LipTac 321 due at the end of this week, Sunday at midnight. Your exercise case study is due Sunday at midnight the following week, so the end of the unit. And then, of course, your response to the discussion questions is due Sunday at midnight of this first week of the unit. And then your conversation with your classmates is due at the end of the unit, which is the second full week of that unit. Okay, so 4 more weeks of that, and then we are done. You've done a phenomenal job. I'm so grateful for your commitment to learning, your engagement. If I can be of help, support, anything, assistance, please let me know. I am happy to do that. That's what I'm here for. Really grateful for all you've put into this class. I hope you have found great learning opportunities have taken place here. I hope you found that it's been beneficial for you personally, and I hope that you've been able to, even potentially as you are working with clients, whether it's for your hours or you're just having conversations, even with friends, family, you've found what you have been learning to actually be very actionable. Essentially what you've learned on a Tuesday, you can put into practice on a Wednesday. I know it has been for me, and I hope the same for you. So have a great week. This first week of Unit 7, and I look forward to seeing you and engaging with you online.